Hello everyone, I'm Sean Townsend, the Director of the Mayor's Office of Nightlife and Culture in Washington, D.C. And we are down at 8th Street, Northwest D.C., in our downtown center, region of the city, at our Dine Out experience. This is an area where there are a few restaurants who have shifted their business model to encourage outdoor dining during the pandemic. We are here with Pepe Moncayo of Crane, and this is his outdoor dining experience. This is his streetery or parklet, as we call it here in DC. Tell us about your business and how you've adapted. You've mentioned you've had to switch models a few times during the pandemic. What does that look like for you in terms of revenue, in terms of foot traffic to your restaurant? How has this pandemic impacted your bottom line?
Last weekend, Saturday being the stronger day for us, the streetery produced 10% of our revenue, which is amazing. So it's really helping a lot.
And so are you seeing customers visit, are they dining indoors? And if so, what is that capacity? What is your capacity?
My capacity is 200 seaters.
Wow.
It's a huge restaurant, and we have, by the rules of the mayor, we are able to operate at 50% capacity, but it's not happening. In fact, with the days that we do 35%, 40%, when it's very heavy business, consider the times that we are living in, it's fantastic nowadays.
What is your staff count? How have you been able to manage keeping staff on the payroll?
Oh, wow. That's painful.
You mentioned, the decrease in business. How have you been able to manage? How's your staff doing mentally? I know it's a lot going on, and these are challenging times. How's your staff taking it?
Well, I think our industry got a big hit, and as I said, we opened 5 weeks before the pandemic really hit here, and we closed down in mid-March. And we were a just open restaurant with 200 seaters, so my head count of staff was around 100 people, because especially when you open a restaurant, you are overstaffed until you get well-oiled, and then you adjust things. So we passed from 100 employees to 0, literally 0. And then we came back on May with 4 of us, and slowly we keep bringing people as the business was picking up in the different stages of opening that we have been through. And right now we are in 22, 25 on a busy night, like Saturdays. That's where we are now.
Wow.
But of course, a lot of people is struggling, and you hear very bad histories about the suffering that team members are going through. Yeah.
So we were off camera, and you told us a story about seeing your staff for the first time without a mask.
Yeah.
Tell us about that experience and what that meant to you.
That happened actually yesterday. We had a food tasting with, as I say, we keep bringing the members we bring back, but things have changed a lot since the day one. And I realized that is the first time that I saw one of the girls that started recently without mask, because she went through process of interview, screening, training, and after she joined, she was working there for 3 weeks. Yesterday was the first time that I saw her face. Yeah.
And our downtown district relies heavily on foot traffic of the federal government, and that has since vanished since the start of the pandemic. The Downtown Business Improvement District has been vital in thinking creatively about creating these types of environments.
That's right.
You mentioned the relief from the city. Mayor Bowser announced a Winter Streetery Ready grant back in September.
Yes, sir.
And I believe you were an applicant.
An applicant, and it was granted to us, and almost immediately. It was a flawless application and was very smooth for us to get it. And in fact, this is the streetery we have set up, but in my restaurant, outdoors, we have also a small outdoor area taking a parklet, and they gave us some founds to put the winter ice in, they call it. Yeah.
So it is your understanding that the city is doing everything that they can to provide relief at this time?
How I feel is that they are going above and beyond. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're here with Emily Mooney with the Downtown DC bid. Emily, let's just jump right into it. we're here sitting in an outdoor space of collaborative effort amongst a couple of restaurants in the area. Tell us how this started, where the idea came from, and how it all came together.
Sure. I think we first started talking about it in late July, early August, when Barry Gutten, the CEO of Cuba Libre Guest Counts, approached the bid with the idea to create a larger outdoor dining experience downtown. We're on 8th Street, as you said, which is a street downtown that this block of the street has no commercial storefront, no restaurants on the street. So the opportunity, as we talked through it, was really to create an outdoor dining experience on a street that's really pretty quiet, and increase the outdoor dining capacity for downtown restaurants. We all know that the indoor dining capacity restrictions limit diners to about 50% of normal capacity. And so outdoor dining has really become a lifeline for restaurants in order to survive and try and, match revenue that they were making previously, pre-COVID. So when we started talking about this, of course, it was summer. As we thought more about it, we realized there's going to be some weather. It's going to get cool before too long. And so it really evolved then into what you find, here now, which is just everything is tented. We added tent walls maybe about a month ago when it started getting a little bit cooler, just to shield from wind. And then about 2 weeks ago, we added heaters. And so it has been an evolution of an idea, but really it started with that idea from Barry, in terms of just creating an experience to provide more outdoor dining capacity and a little bit of activation downtown.
Let's talk about numbers. I see heat, I see tables, tents. We're in front of a poster, a backdrop here with some logos on it of some companies. Who's funding this? Is the bid taking this on by themselves, or do you have some other partners that are helping foot the bill for this?
Well, I'll tell you, yes, all of the above. So in terms of from the bid's perspective, we typically do a lot of annual programming that frankly largely didn't happen this year. And so we did have some funds, kind of in reserves that have been utilized for this event. But we've also been fortunate enough to partner with Bacardi and PepsiCo, who provided financial sponsorships for the downtown DC Dine Out, which have been hugely helpful. If you've ever planned a wedding before, you know that the cost of tents, tables, and chairs really add up. And we were fortunate also to have a good partnership with our rental company, who was able to kind of give us a reasonable price for a month-long, contract basically for the first 4 or 5 weekends of the event. Yeah. So, initially, in terms of numbers, we were looking at about $60,000 all in, and that's including rentals, that's including promotions, printed materials, as you said. But about half of that was defrayed by the sponsorships. And so our ongoing costs, we've decided to extend it for another 4 weekends. Okay. And just to put into perspective, I guess we're looking at, for tents, tables, and chairs for 4 weekends, it's about $13,000 additional. The heat alone is about $9,000. And so when we talk about, supporting our restaurants into the winter months, that's the kind of thing that restaurants are faced with right now, in order to keep that outdoor dining revenue going. Heat's a big part of it, obviously, as well as the tenting infrastructure, and it's not cheap. And so the bid is really, been happy to support that, but also for us, frankly, it's a learning experience to see and try and help develop some best practices so we can support all the restaurants in the bid. We talk a lot about how to support the restaurants into the winter months, and we have some ideas working so that we can make these initiatives, more kind of widespread downtown.
I know there's a huge federal government foot traffic down here who often spend money after 5 o'clock in this area. How has that impacted businesses down here, specifically restaurants? And what are you hearing in terms of feedback from restaurants who are participating in this streetery outdoor dining experience?
Sure. Well, to your point, downtown DC relies heavily on its daytime employment base. And right now, because so many people are working from home still, we estimate 10% maximum employees are back in the office. It's probably more like 8% right now. We don't have the residential base that a lot of neighborhoods do and a lot of other bids in DC have to support our restaurants and retailers. And so it really has been quiet. It's been a different place. And so as we think to the future and as we think about activations like this, it's really, it's two-pronged for us. It's creating an opportunity to support businesses downtown, but it's also creating activity, positive activity. And as we think ahead, as a bid, it's, we're asking how do we create destination appeal activations that are safe until all of these entertainment venues can reopen and our tourists can come back and the employees are back full force. So yeah, that's a big question for us. And I think in terms of the impact to restaurants, I know that the downtown DC Dine Out has provided a significant, boost to their revenues during this time. And so, it's something, it really speaks to the importance of outdoor dining in DC and how powerful that is to keeping these businesses going.
Barry, thanks for being with us today. We are in the middle of a pandemic, and for restaurateurs like yourself, that means that you've had to at least adapt your business model at least once or twice or 8 different times. And we see you have a beautiful outdoor space here, and there's also some cars going by. This is not what you had last year around this time. Tell us how this came to be, and how you've seen, how you've been impacted by COVID-19 and what that means for restaurateurs like yourself.
Thanks, Sean. Well, it has been quite a challenge. Every day is something new. Whether it's the weather or the regulations, we're always moving and grooving. But we adapt, and so the first thing was that we were closed down since March and reopened in late June. We reopened with our sidewalk dining and indoor dining, but that really wasn't enough, our sidewalk dining. We needed more outdoor. And the city has enabled us to use our parking lane on a very busy, what's normally a very busy street. But it's really added quite a bit. We have 6 or 7 tables there. And outdoor dining has been over 50% of our business this summer.
I see a lot of plants and nice furniture here. I even see some trees that remind me of Charleston, South Carolina. What type of numbers, what's the cost to do something like this to accommodate patrons eating outdoors?
We've been spending thousands of dollars. I believe this is about $5,000 out here, and we've had other initiatives that cost us money. And thankfully, as we're getting ready for the winter, the district has been providing a grant that we were able to take advantage of to help us get heating and other things we need to operate through the winter.
That's right. So Mayor Bowser did announce on September 21st $4 million to support businesses to help defray the cost of winterizing such spaces outdoors. But this is not your only outdoor space.
No.
You have another one just a block over on 8th Street in partnership with the BID. Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah. When we opened in June, we had 50% dining inside, and we had this outdoor dining. What we did not have is much traffic here. We're downtown. All of our business drivers, the convention center, the arena, the museums, and the offices were all closed or very slow. So we had to come up with a way to bring more people downtown, to create a destination. And unlike other parts of the city and other cities, our restaurant's a little bit spread out in downtown DC. So the idea was to take a street behind us, which has no commercial activity, and turn it into a multi-restaurant pop-up outdoor dining destination to try and attract people from the suburbs and from other parts of the city to come downtown.
So Barry, we are, cold season is here upon us. I think we just had our last 70 degree day yesterday. What does the future look like for you, for your business here in terms of outdoor dining through the next couple of months?
On 8th Street, we're hoping to keep the tents going through the cold weather using sidewalls and heat. And on this side, we're going to be putting gas fire pits out here, kind of an Adirondack feel. Adirondack chairs and a roof and windbreaks so that the wind doesn't blow away the heat. We're going to be having a special appetizer and dessert menu, and it's really going to feel like you're around a campfire or at a ski lodge.
Any feedback for government locally in terms of how the approach in terms of providing relief or any type of guidance that's come out, how has that been received by you and others in the industry that you know about?
We operate in a number of states and a number of cities. Our 2 downtown locations have had a very different level of support from the government. Washington, D.C. has been an example for everyone to follow because we got the information and guidance in time to make it actionable. We've gotten financial support in terms of the grant and in terms of the downtown D.C. Business Improvement District supporting the tents, and we're able to take action. Now, we're not making money. Our goal is to lose less money and survive. That's how we want to get through the winter. And we could not have gotten to this point without the government's support, and we could not get through the winter without it either.
DC has historically been identified as not a state, a place that's not a state. And there's been a big push for DC statehood, and I think that Mayor Bowser has championed this issue because for a reason like what we're experiencing now. DC has not been afforded the opportunity to receive the same amount of funds that other states have from the federal government for purposes of relief. But with that being said, we were able to provide $4 million to a grant with the funds that we did have, with the little funds that we got. There are other states out there that you have restaurants in that have not provided the type of relief that we have here in DC. So for those that are watching in other states, what are some of the things that restaurateurs like yourself would encourage government in other states?
Well, certainly we'd encourage them to support in terms of getting information out quickly, help guide us through, expedite the permitting process as you have here, and if possible, provide financial support, either in terms of actual physical equipment, such as a heater, or tents, or a grant to defray the costs that the restaurant expended. So right now, we're headed into the cold weather. Downtown bids are, if they haven't taken action, or it's probably very late for the winter, but it's not late for the spring, because this spring, the COVID is going to be here. The same challenges are going to be facing us. And they can take action to help the restaurants come out of the winter and prepare for the summer.
And I know that the 8th Street outdoor project was just extended a couple of more weeks. What's the time frame for your outdoor space here? Do you intend on going through the entire winter into spring? Are you hopeful that government will make it permanent? Is that something that you'd like to see? What's your thoughts?
Well, we're intending to make that change to the fire pits here and have that go through the whole winter. And we are hoping that the use of the parking lane will become permanent, as they have in New York City, made all of those accommodations permanent.
Well, I'll have a further discussion with our mayor here in DC and see if we can make that happen.
You're the man.
Thank you.